Hello, I'm Roger Webb and welcome to my studio. So today's painting, we're up in the ante quite a bit. This is series 4, I think, of a group of paintings that I'm trying to transfer some information to new starters on how to paint with acrylic paint in this case. So what I do in this class of painting is draw out the composition in burnt umber. It's actually quite watered down burnt umber. The reason I do this is because if you're staring at a brilliant white canvas, you can sort of go colorblind slightly, I think, due to the white glare. Also, it gives you a good idea and sort of keeps you on track of what you want to do. Now, you'll also see in the description of this little video is I've actually named, I think it's 20,000 strokes. No, I didn't sit there and count every stroke, but I sort of just took a group or part of the painting and counted the individual strokes and sort of times it by the time that I was sort of painting, I suppose. This painting was done over 3 days, so you will see a little bit of change in colour as the sun was either shining through the window or not. So that's why the colour changed a little bit. Okay, so here we are getting the composition down to, what I'd like to end up with, and it's just a dense forest scene looking down through a valley. With I think this is in the evening time as the sun drops down the back of the mountain there. I live in Tasmania, so this is a typical scene here. So what I'm doing here is, and this is my sort of particular style of painting that I normally paint this type of picture in. I sort of block in the base colors and I sort of not exactly blend it like you've seen me do in earlier paintings that I've done. I'll mix the paint color on the palette and then put the individual colors on, as you can see that I'm doing here now. It's just a way of painting or a style of painting that I find works for me. I use several different types of style, as it were, and it sort of gets the job done. And you've got to sort of be comfortable in the way that that you are painting. Now, my paintings are, they're not masterpieces, but they are the type of paintings that anybody can do. Now, what I was trying to do here, in fact, was get the mauvey, purpley colours that you see in storm clouds. But as I was painting it, I'm thinking to myself, this is too bright. This is one of the occasions when the sun had just gone down, I think, and the light changed in the room, so it showed a whole different color on the actual painting. But anyway, what I was doing, what I thought I would do here is, okay, I'm going to let that dry off and I'm going to paint over top of it, because it's I class it as, it was too much. It was just too, I suppose you could call it loud. It was screaming at you, I'm purple. So so I decided to, well, I would like some of that colour in just in the background of the clouds. So the best way of doing it, I find, is okay, the dominant color is blue, and then start putting the other different colors, like the very pale yellows and whites, and sort of blend them in over top of it, but still allow the purpley tinge to still be there in the background color of the clouded sky. Now, this particular style of painting is more like oil painting. The acrylic paint is straight out of the tube. It's not watered down, so it behaves like oil paints, and I just prefer this type of style of painting, and it works all right, I think. And you can see that you can actually blend it on the on top of the drier paint underneath as well, and the effect is okay, because I'm sure the skies they're never one color. They're a mixture of colors, especially with cloud and the sun starting to go down. So you sort of try and get all those different types of colors in, of which there's probably more than 10 different colors there. And you sort of got to wash them in together, blend part of them. Like I'm putting quite a lot of white on there, and you'll see me blend it into some of the other colors. Like this, I think I do. Yes, here we go. Starting to blend it a little bit, so it looks more realistic. And as you're blending, I'm blending through to the blue that's underneath, and it looks more sort of realistic, I think, anyway. You notice there's a fair amount of grey in there as well. So now I start to block in the mountainous regions. Blocking in is the background color. Obviously, I'm going to paint on top of this, so it's just the base colors. And if you look down, well, in Tasmania, I suppose it would be in other places, but if you're looking down through a pass or a mountainous region in the afternoon, and this is looking about 7 to 8 miles away, there's a bright point from where the sun, sort of has just dropped down behind the mountain. So it's very bright in that area, then it just fades to quite dark. So this is what I'm replicating here. Also on the far right hand side, I'm sort of starting to put shadow in. Now this side of this mountain is totally in shadow, and what I'm also indicating here is that very far away items, you can't really make it or have a distinguishing color. Like you couldn't paint it green, because with the haze and being that far away and the light source, this is an example of what it actually does look like. And what I'm doing here now is putting the darker colors into the groups of trees, or the shadows in behind the trees. And again, this is a form of blocking in, and also indications of very small fir trees, or Christmas tree type things. Pine trees, that's the word I'm trying to look for. Now, so you start with the darker color first, and you just make, I'm using a 1/2 inch flat brush with very fine hair, and I'm just making brush strokes that resemble pine trees. And sort of the further away from you, you've got to sort of try and make smaller strokes, and then as it comes more in the foreground, you make larger strokes or longer strokes, and you'll sort of get the hang of it just just by trying. You just sat in front of a computer, you're not going to get any joy at all. When you're learning to paint, you've actually got to pick up the paint brushes and just give it a go. So, actually, on that subject, you can buy a canvas, what this is, and a pack of starter paints, acrylic paints, and also a small pack of brushes. I rarely use very, very long purpose artist brushes. I find the shorter ones much more controllable. And, $50 and you've kitted yourself out. I mean, my easel is really just a piece of man-made pine board that I've laminated together, and it's just stood up on an old desk. And I prefer to use that than an easel. So there again, I'm sort of blocking in the rough shapes here of dark and light, and then sort of painting some of the trees over top of it. So it's all done in layers. And the same with the grassy area here. You rarely in the wild see one plain green grass. It's a patchwork quilt. There's probably 10 or 15 different shades of green just in the grass. And it just makes it more realistic. Now you'll notice I've just scrubbed it on there, and it's just a matter of sort of getting the colours on. There's not in any particular I suppose type of colour. It's just I start off with a dark green and I just keep adding yellow into it actually, and it goes lighter and lighter and lighter, and different parts of my palette I just dip into a different colour green, and it works for me. That's how I've always done it. This is actually, I'm an engineer, and I've been teaching engineering things with CNC routers and lathes and lasers, but I had a big passion for painting when I was in college, and when I got married, I don't know why, but I stopped painting, and now I'm sort of getting on towards 70. There are times where I can't get out the workshop because of weather and what have you. So I thought, well, what can I do in the house, or in my office actually? And painting. I'd like to have a go at painting again, so why don't I pass down my knowledge? So here we are. And like I say, this ended up being sort of 20,000 or more different strokes over 3 days. This actually took me to make. Now, a lot of people paint, and when they do a mountain, it's all nice, clean, crisp, flowing lines, Mountains aren't like that, especially if they got trees on. When you look at them at the the distance, it's like you can pick out the individual trees running along the top of it, which is what I am trying to paint here. And gradually get lighter and lighter as I go to the light source. And this is another technique I've learnt too, is paint the little tiny trees going up the side of the mountain, and the face of the mountain that I'm doing now. You really only need to do an indication. It's an impression of trees. You can't make out the individual ones in real life. So you sort of make a representation when you're painting to what you can see, and I hope that's what I'm managing to convey here. And I was looking at this painting and I'm thinking, well, this is, there's too much green here, so I'm just going to put an indication of some wildflowers right at the bottom and in the middle. So that's what I'm doing here, just to indicate, sort of stalks, and just indicate sort of wild flowers of some type. I'm not even sure what they would be, daisies or something. You're not going to paint every individual leaf, so you just make a sort of a leaf shape. And I sort of added a couple more colours in here as well. And I think that's about it. Oh, grass. That's just really a stiff artist brush, and you dip it into what colour that you think your sort of grass might be, the dried out stuff, and you just put it on and flick it up. That's the easiest way to do it. So there you are. I hope you've enjoyed the little video today. If you have, please like and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next painting or whatever I'm doing up in my workshop. So once again, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.